Today we have Mr. Ajay Marwaha with us, and we'll be knowing how are the FPI sentiments. Sir, we'd like to directly shoot to you. How do you see the sentiments? It's more than 6 months now. We have seen the pandemic, so we'd like to hear your views.
Yeah, thanks, Ria. I think quite clearly, sentiment is one of relief, which is turning into a fair amount of bullishness at the actual revival and, more importantly, the potential revival of economic activity. I think the only thing we've all got to be very, very conscious of is that we don't let this relief run away and become into inherent bullishness, because it's not necessarily so. There were serious issues that we faced in the economy prior to the pandemic as well, and we should not forget that backdrop. And we have to really look at how some of those structural issues evolve as time goes by. That's critical, and which is why I am always cautious, particularly when there is over optimism around, which I think there is at the moment.
Great. So we'd like to also understand how do you see the roadmap going ahead, since Diwali is considered to be a new year for all of us, for Hindus specifically. So how do you see the roadmap going ahead? We seeing some good revival coming in?
Definitely. I think two or three key things to note there is that all of the numbers that you see, particularly numbers which will come on the back of year on year, or more importantly, quarter on quarter or month on month, there will be massive base effects. So you're going to see those numbers look very, very good on paper, right? But basically, what it is the return of economic activity. And some of those headline numbers should be interpreted again in a balanced fashion. I do see revival. It's very clear that we see revival. It's excellent news that we will go back to as normal as we can go back to in given current circumstances. And the hope is that, once vaccinations, etc., are available, and now it looks as if definitely in the first 2 quarters of 2021, there would be some degree of vaccination that would be available against the pandemic. That would become the bedrock on which some of this economic activity should stabilize. And therefore, I actually think that in terms of times, these are much, much better times. And Diwali is a great occasion, usually, and a very auspicious occasion on which a lot of investors, tend to look at forward-looking signals, and those forward-looking signals are definitely much, much better than what we've seen. But it's like I said, it's time to be a little circumspect and not get carried away, particularly by valuations, because what we've seen over the last 2 weeks, particularly, is a massive relief rally and a massive spurt in valuations. And not all of those may be justified.
Great. Sir, with this, I really hope that, a lot of revival signatures, specifically as you mentioned, the economic activities should start taking place. And so we should see the FPI is also taking more interest in India again. I hope, sir, is it possible to give us a timeline that we can see the pre-COVID levels? Any tentative lines you see?
You've breached pre-COVID levels in terms of market expectations, right?
Right.
Market levels are far beyond that. Valuations are far beyond that. In terms of actual growth activity or actual production activity going back to those levels, I'd be surprised if that is not at least 6 to 12 months away. And I also see consumption levels come back, but that also will take time. It takes time for the trickle-down effect to take place, for particularly the small and medium business enterprise industry to come back to form. A lot of Indian growth is on the shoulders of that space, and therefore I think we need to be a little more circumspect in terms of allowing them the time and the bandwidth to come back to full form.
Okay.
I'd be shocked if it doesn't take at least 6 to 12 months for that to happen.
Great. Sir, any suggestive measures in your opinion you think could be taken for the space to actually move up?
Yes, there are always ways of accelerating this phenomenon. But I think, quite frankly, the government's done, a fair amount of good steps. Has taken a fair amount of good steps. Um, a lot of relief that's been provided has been very welcome, uh, and I think it's a result of some of those actions that you're seeing activity come back. So there are structural measures. I think, in fact, just today there's another announcement by the finance minister, on incremental support to be provided. I think the right sectors need that support, particularly, like I said, the SME space needs that support. The unorganized sector also needs that support. They are massively impacted, given what's happened over the course of the last 6 months. And so we do need continued support and a very vigilant eye on how that sector is bouncing back. I think that's the key.
Great, sir. So this was really nice having your insights. We wish you very happy Diwali to you and your family. We hope to have your more insights regularly on this note. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Ria. Thanks, and wish all of you the very same and enjoy your Diwali. Thank you.
Thank you.